What a beautiful day on reserve. Hopefully we don't see any stank rat watching chimera wearing stinky little rats running around.
Man, I'm about to sling some ropes on you.
You mother piece of oh my god, you're everywhere, God. It never ends. Holy are you still breathing? Son of a bitch. You know what? We're gonna do it again. I'm exposing all the rat spots. Follow me. Wahoo! Reserve has been plagued by rats since its introduction to the game years ago. Look up. They are literally everywhere. In this video, I'm going to show you where they hide, some cheeky little angles to show you how to take fights better, and a couple of parkour spots just to spice it up. Starting with the Scav Extract. This building here isn't exactly parkourable. If you have a teammate, you can get on the roof, but that's about it. It does have a handful of windows that you can look out towards the back of school and the back of med. But other than that, you can't really hop around on the thing, and it's kind of a dead zone, so nobody really comes out here. If you hop up here on this tank, the lights and the guns and everything that's sticking off the top kind of hide your head from direct line of sight. It's a little spot to look up the road. Moving on, if we go over here around the corner, up into this tower, no real call out for the tower, actually. Usually call it just tower next to Scavlands. If you go up into the top of this thing, you can carefully, and I do mean carefully, if you fall down, you're going to break every bone in your body, so don't do that. Hop up onto the railing, hop up onto this shield, take a couple steps forward, turn to your right, and then jump up onto the roof. Hiding behind these lights is definitely something that I recommend doing, mostly because people don't look up on top of the fucking tower. They do look in the windows. It's typically where they're going to expect you. And from this point of view, you have angles on King. You have angles on all of the school buildings over by the chopper. Great set of angles. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get to. Next, we're going to talk about the K buildings. Some people call them King. I think that's incorrect. I think the train building is King, and I think these are Ks. 1 through 6, I believe. Couldn't give you the number if I tried, so we're just going to call them the K buildings. Unlucky for the guy who owns the joint, this place looks like a bag of smashed assholes. Lucky for us, it gets us on the roof pretty easily. And opens up a lot of different combat opportunities that I think are pretty dope. They give you the ability to express your creativity within your combat. And it's super easy to get up here no matter what level you are. I'm not going to show you all every single way up here, but come over here and explore for 30 seconds and you'll find them all. Moving within the K buildings, you'll learn that, like a lot of spots on Reserve, it is dark as fuck everywhere, which is why Reserve has its nickname, Rat-Zerve. If you find a dark corner, at some point or another, a rat is hid there. Within these buildings, there's a lot of verticality to them. You can get up on top of shit. While you're up on top of shit, they can give you some fresh angles like this one on top of this box here. You're looking out the wall. You're looking into the Badlands. You might catch somebody lacking. With that being said, not a whole lot of traffic through this part of the map unless 1, Gluhar is here, or 2, the raid just started. Within these train cars here, a lot of handsome little spots to kind of stick your ass into. Kind of a jabroni factory if you ask me, but you know what? It is what it is. All of these train cars have some kind of interesting little thing inside of them. The fucking scabs are in there. Like this little hidey hole right here, bro. You know a scav in here on that nasty ass mattress beating his meat. But you can come back here too and rat somebody's dick off if that's your thing. Last thing for the K buildings, coming back up on the roof here. If you go to the far back right roof and you need to get the hell out of Dodge quickly, you hook a right, run towards that little hermetic doors down here, throw yourself in the air, pray to God, land on this truck, jump off. You're going to take a little bit of damage to your legs, but you'll be out of the fight quickly. Moving on, going down here, we're going to call this place Safe Corridor because there's a quest named Safe Corridor, and I'm not creative. Down here, there is a handful of spots that you can get up on top of. I'm going to show you one specifically due to how fucking great it is. Where I'm sitting right now is essentially right in the middle of the damn room. You get a perfect vantage point on both the left door and the right door, and the doors behind you, the big giant doors behind you. If scabs are going to come anywhere, specifically for this quest, they're going to come either from behind you or from either of these doors, as well as enemy combatants that are human, you know, other players. That spot right there, shoot all the lights out. It's dark as fuck in here. They'll never see you. By the time they do see you, they're probably already dead. Heading back up topside through one of the corridors on the way out, we are coming to a building lovingly known by the Tarkov community as Harry Potter. Don't ask me why it's named that. That's just what the fuck we named it. We're a bunch of dumbasses. The building itself doesn't have a whole lot of parkour opportunities, and you're not going to find people in it a whole lot of the time. It does, however, give you several vantage points on a couple spots where Gluhar could be, as well as raiders when they come off the train, and players who are just pretty much unsuspecting of it. A lot of times when people are coming up from the safe corridor, they'll come through here, and if you're in here, you'll hear them coming before they know that you're there, giving you a decent chance to jump on somebody. Moving up to this area that's above Hermetic, I personally don't have a name for it. I would love to hear all of the names that you guys have for it. Leave them in the comments below, and I'll put them in a future video if we do reserve again. Moving to this little tower here, there are several of these shorter towers on the map, and they're all identical models. You are actually able to get on the roof of these things, and a lot of the times when people are rotating around the map, they'll stay around the outside, and they will never, ever think to check actually on top of one of these guys. Doesn't require a super high strength level. You should be able to get up here pretty low. Yeah, then you can pop up on here and catch unsuspecting players running by. Moving to these buildings on the outskirts of the map, I call this area Edgeville. Shout out to my OSRS boys. A lot of people also call it marked because there's a marked room out here in these two buildings, so marked kind of works. Essentially, not a whole lot out here if you're not going for marked room. Understanding that when you're in a fight here, all of these windows are something that you can jump in and out of. Will save your ass, I'm sure, because a lot of people think that there's only one way in, one way out. Same thing with the other building as well. These windows on the back are a good way to get into the building without exposing yourself to king. Knowing how to crouch jump would really, really benefit you if you don't know how to do it already, or if you haven't watched my first video. If you run at a window and jump and hit crouch at the same time, you'll launch yourself out the window. I will give you an example right here. I just gained about fucking 15 feet out that window rather than just getting stuck there in the window, which can also add an element of surprise to your combat style. Learn it. I'm sure all of my Tarkov veterans at the beginning of this video, when I called those other buildings K's, are already in the comments calling me a brain dead fuck. I'm just not realizing that that is a rook on the side of the building, and I've been calling it the wrong name for years. So, I don't know, dude. A lot of people call this place Rook or Train. More people call it Train than Rook. We're going to call it Train. This spot here is really, really helpful if you're fighting Gluhar and the boys over when they're in the K buildings. Wouldn't recommend it during the day. However, if you come at night, you're just outside of their LOS, and it makes them pretty easy targets if they're actually standing in that left side K building. It says 6 on the side. Call it 6. Otherwise, you're going to have to move around to this building here to find more angles, of which I'll show you a couple. This angle over here out this window gives you a decent look at RBST. And with the spawn being there, that is a very decent angle to keep in your back pocket. Moving around the back and going outside, we're going to go up on the roof itself while making sure that we don't fall through these open holes in the ground. Otherwise, your fucking kneecaps are going to buckle. And then we're going to make our way over by this dead scav. By the dead scav, there is a window pane that is completely removed, and it is the only one that you can walk into. Once we go in, we're going to follow this little pathway that follows the right side of the building, all the way over to this little track. Hop up on the track. Go across. You're going to have another middle track. Follow that until you get to this thing. Hop up on that. And then through this open window pane, just like the last one, we are on the other side of the building now, with a decent view on the Badlands, as well as the back of Night and RBST. This machine gun is actually operational, which is pretty wild, considering nobody ever comes up here. And this area will also give you a great view of the back of K. And it's, like I said a second ago, it's not very often people are up here. You are silhouetting yourself pretty badly, but you can. If you need a quick way down, these tankers are here you can jump off of onto this platform, and the platform has sets of stairs that'll take you down. Might take your kneecaps a little bit of life, but you'll be alright. Moving into this next patch of land, I call this, lovingly, the Badlands. There isn't shit out here. There's a food crate right here next to this anti-air tank. Other than that, man, I would avoid this area at all costs. There's a couple things that you can loot out here, but honestly, it's fucking full of scavs. The people up at Dome have a great angle on you. There's legitimately, other than spawning out here, no reason to come out here. Moving on. This building on the edge of Badlands is actually called White Knight. It's one of the night buildings, one of two. Going into this building, there are a lot of dark corners. Make sure you have a flashlight. Make sure you check your corners moving in. Not a whole lot of spots to hop around. In the garage there are, but it's not real reason to do so. On second floor here, if you're going up the stairs, there's no way to get in there other than going to the roof and falling down the hole, or going outside and going around the back and jumping on the truck. That I'll show you later. Moving all the way to the top of the roof. If you hop on these boxes, hop on these shields, you're actually able to get on top of this tent here. It gives you a decent angle on the Badlands. You can shoot through it, however, so if somebody sees you, they can just pepper it. So be careful being up here. It gives you a decent angle on the train building, Badlands itself, you know, the top of RBST, this parking lot here. Kind of an angle that nobody really checks. Decent to know. Going to the edge of the roof, we can actually look out here and look down on the entrance from the Badlands into this little alleyway. Gives you a decent little peppery spot. If you run back, and so say you have somebody chasing you, you can jump all the way over to this roof. You are going to break your legs. Max health, max strength, nothing's going to really save you there. You might get lucky. But this does give you an angle on the third floor windows, as well as the second floor long window, where the jump up from the truck is. It's a very useful angle. Most times either people are on first and third, or they're on second. A lot of times they're on second. Spread this window down, get a couple easy kills, in a position that nobody really expects you to be in. While on this roof, you have a handful of ways down. The most easy way to get down is these boxes over here. If you hop on the roof, off of the roof, excuse me, go down these boxes, save your kneecaps, good to go. Heading back to the front of White Knight, if you are on the roof, you actually have the ability to jump down on this door here and then down either onto that little blue thing to the left or onto this van, depending upon which one you take. You can save your ass. Going around the back of White Knight, you can go into this garage here, hop on this car, jump into the second floor. These are all pretty well-known spots. I figured I would just show you guys them just so that you have it in your back pocket if you haven't learned yet. One of the windows on the second floor is jump outable. You can jump out of this if somebody's chasing you and give you an angle that they probably are not expecting. You're also able to jump out these windows into the garage itself. A little riskier because that's typically where the players are. However, if you need to get out, this is an option. Moving down the road a little bit, we call this building either garage and or RBST. The reason it's RBST is because a quest key is in this building, and that's what the name is. A lot of stuff to jump on top of here. You're able to jump on top of these boxes, jump on top of this truck here, get a decent little angle at the broken wall where people are going to be coming from White Knight. Give you a lot of options there as well. Moving forward, you're going to go through this hole in the wall. This is going to take you to RBST, that locked door over there, the light sticking out of it. Again, if you're stuck in here, there's a lot of stuff to jump on. Hey, what up? Goddamn. Anyway, you're able to jump up on top of a lot of stuff, including this truck. Do not go prone on the top of this truck. Don't do it. I'm going to prove to you why. Here we go. Ready? And I'm fucking stuck.
Oh my god, stop, bro. I'm stuck. Can you help me?
Don't do it. Okay, so there's that truck again. We know not to go prone up there because you can't stand back up. This right here is RBST. This is the key for it. Going in here, there are a handful of angles that will give you kind of an unseen spot on the Badlands. There's a spawn out there, and if you beat them getting past these windows, this is a decent little angle to take them out. You know, the back of this truck here as well for another angle out a window. And that's pretty much all RBST has to offer, really. If you're in here and you're in a fight and somebody's in the separating room, you're kind of fucked. Moving on, Black Knight. This building here is across the way from White Knight and RBST. Black Knight is another garage building, kind of a motorcade of sorts. If you go into the actual garage itself and run to the front of this truck here, if you see those windows at the top of your screen right there, you hop on the truck, hop from the top of the truck into this window. And most people will be watching the stairs and or looking at you already. This kind of gives you an unforeseen angle that they don't plan on using. You go into this room and jump on this table, you're able to look at the back of Queen. This is a high traffic area. Kind of give you an angle that they're not really typically going to check. Moving on onto the roof, we have a couple of options here. If you want to get down in a hurry, you can go this way. Hop over this wall here, You can jump down. I recommend taking either that door, hopping on the top of that door and then going into the ground, or hopping on these boxes. It lowers your chance of breaking your legs. If you are overweight, I would definitely toss your bag first. Running over to the sidewall here, hopping on the sidewall, then hopping on these sandbags, and then onto the camo net. You're actually able to get onto the higher portion of the roof, and then you can go into this tent if you feel so inclined. Moving behind this shield, it gives you a decent angle on the medical building, as well as King to your left. King, K buildings to your left, and Queen across the way on the roof. This is a pretty high traffic area, especially at the beginning of raids. If you're able to get into this building before people make their way from the K buildings to the medical building, you can actually catch them off guard. And it also gives you a decent way to look down on people that are probably unsuspecting of you being all the way up there. These doors are options for getting down as well. You can hop on those doors and then hop down onto the debris around them. Gives you several options. If you decide that you want to get on top of this tent for whatever reason, you can. Hop on these sandbags, hop on the top of the tent. Gives you a decent line of sight all the way down the road. There are scavs that are typically there, as well as players moving from building to building. Hopping down. I'm actually going to jump off the roof like I said earlier, showing you that you do not break your legs if you do so. Hop onto that, hop down. Take a little bit of damage, but not enough to kill you. This little garage, for whatever reason, I find myself in a fight here every day if I'm fighting on reserve a lot. For whatever reason, this seems to be a very high traffic area. Sitting on these pallets is a good way to fucking stop you from being easily seen immediately. I was going to try to jump onto that shelf, and I'm pretty sure you can still do so from this barrel. Maybe not. That thing across the top of the roof kind of stops you. I tried multiple times. I tried multiple ways. These shelves are apparently not able to be gotten up on. That or I just suck. Probably the latter. Alright, moving on and going outside here. These tents, you can get on top of them as well. This area right here, I wouldn't spend too much time in. Mostly just because, like I said earlier, it's a high traffic area from Queen to Black Knight. A lot of people run through here at all times of the raid. So I would avoid being here for too long, unless you're them rats we were talking about. Other than that, you can get on top of this tent. You can jump from tent to tent and also get on this camo netting. People coming out of Queen and going to Black Knight typically won't look up here, so you'll catch them unaware. Jumping down. We are going to work our way onto the roof of Queen. I've said it multiple times at this point, but the call out for this building specifically is Queen. If you watch Landmark at all, he fights just about everybody and their fucking mother here. The inside of the building contains a server room as well as a basketball court and other tech spawns. Going up onto the roof here, we have a handful of options. This roof, as far as all the roofs in the map go, are kind of barren, so just keep that in your back pocket just in case you want to be up here. Going on the roof and then inside this building, there are a lot of windows that you can use. This one looks at the medical building. There are ones on the opposite direction that look at Dome, as well as the hermetic button. If you go over to these windows here that are directly outside of the front door, you can jump out of them. Might have to sprint at it, get a running start, and then kill a slide. This can give you a change in levels that another player may not, see coming. Give you the drop on them, whether or not they are in the second or the first floor. Also from the first floor at the front door, you are able to jump into those windows as well. Going into the garage, there are these green tents. Not the garage, excuse me, the gym. There are these green tents that you can get up on top of. And these give you a fantastic angle on the medical building. This little back alleyway as well as this window are high traffic areas. You will catch somebody going there. Yeah, keep this one in your back pocket for sure. Jumping from tent to tent will give you a better angle at the second floor windows of the medical building. Again, I catch people lacking in these windows all the time. Surprisingly, nobody seems to be able to look through this. When you shoot through the glass, it actually doesn't break and make a breaking glass sound. So typically they won't look at the window. Excellent little spot. Moving on into the server room. This is kind of very dark room, very, rat specific, very easy to hide in. If you go up to the second floor here, There are actually windows that look into the server room. A lot of people come through that big garage door and or through the broken wall that we originally came through. Going back down the stairs, you can actually jump onto this railing and then on top of these servers themselves. They might not be servers, that's just what I'm calling them. And then you can sit here in this corner. Horrible spot to be on the receiving end of. Great spot to sit there. Moving on. This building is called Medical and or White Bishop, depending upon if you want to use the chess vernacular. You can jump into a lot of the windows of Medical, trying to, you know, keep yourself away from the doors. If people are going to pin anything, they're going to pin themselves on the doors. Windows are a definite great second option. Moving upstairs. If you get to the top of the stairs, you want to hook a left, you have a great set of eyes on the back of the kitchen. Those windows there actually are able to be shot through, which I will show you later. Rotating around and heading back upstairs. The roof of Medical gives you several options. One, there's this hole that you can hop in and get yourself an angle on the K buildings, as well as Black and White Knight and the gap between the two. The back of Queen, by the fire pit, roof of Queen. Lots of options as far as this is concerned. It is a bit of a bore ass to get out, so I'm going to cut out me trying to fuck around doing it. Going back into the Medical second floor and heading up back to the roof. This spot here, when going with a duo, you are able to boost yourself up onto that roof if somebody is chasing you up there, or you just want to camp it. Going prone on that roof is easily one of the better spots on Medical. If you're in a fight in this building and they're on the second floor, and you know that they're on the second floor and you have the ability to get to the roof, you can hop down on this camo netting, look at the second floor window. A lot of people don't expect this. A lot of people don't know that camo netting is something that can be jumped upon. And it's also a great way off the roof if you don't have the ability to go back inside the building. Moving on into this building over here, this is called Black Bishop. The kitchen is actually called Black Bishop. A lot of people just call it kitchen. Keep that in mind if you're hearing call outs from your teammates. You hop on this table. These little slit windows are something that you can use to look at the top of the roof of the Medical building, as well as, you know, this table over here. If you stand straight up, like all the way up, you have the ability to shoot into the side door of Med as well as the back. As long as your sight over board is fine. This room here is a very popular rat spot for people to just sit and wait due to the way through the kitchen into the Ratacombs. Moving into the school, or also known as Black Bishop. Everybody just calls this school. Obviously, everybody knows the drop down. If you don't know it yet, I'm about to show you. That window there specifically that I just circled, you can hop out the window onto the awning and then into this tech room. This tech room is heavily contested, the majority of raids. It's easily seen from both white pawn and black pawn. This door is locked. It is the most useless key in the game. Don't buy that key. Don't even know what the key is. If you're stuck in here and you want a way out, you can jump out this window and then land on this metal roof. And then if you go down the metal roof, you can actually get back to the first floor through the windows. Multiple windows are able to be gotten in and out of on the first floor onto that metal roof. It's a good thing to keep on your back pocket. Moving on. Running through the building, this entire building is essentially a fatal funnel, and there are so many blank corners that can really fuck you if you're not paying attention. These windows here at the end of the thing can actually be crouch jumped out of. If you jump and crouch at the same time, like I showed you guys at Edgeville, you're able to hop way out that window. You can also jump off that bench and back in. I just suck at the game. Moving on, this building directly adjacent to the school is called Black Pawn. So, the layout it's not the same, but again, a lot of funnels, a lot of corners. If you come into any building on reserve and the lights are shot out, just expect somebody to be in a corner. There's not a whole lot of spots to jump because you just bounce your head off the roof, but there are a lot of spots to camp, such as this one. Keep this one in mind. I mean, there are a lot of angles on reserve. It's hard to keep everything in mind. Moving all the way up onto the roof, we have several options as far as getting, you know, higher than the roof actually allows. This angle here is great for early spawns if you have the ability to get here and then look out into that field. A lot of spawns start there. A lot of people move slowly too, just to kind of avoid that initial rotation. If you move into here, you can catch them lagging. You can hop on top of the tent onto this roof and then hide behind the light. give you a decent angle on the dome as well as the top of Black Pawn, or White Pawn, excuse me. You can also go under that tent, and it gives you several sniper options. Hopping back on the roof, and then I believe I move forward. Sure do. We're going to go onto this other little section of roof. There's no light up there to hide behind. However, if you feel so inclined, you're able to get up on top of it by going over here to the side of this building, hopping on the sandbags, moving around to these shields, following the shields, and then hopping up onto the roof. It's an option. I really wouldn't recommend it because you're silhouetting yourself pretty bad, and people who have played this game long enough can tell when pixels are out of place. Moving on, between Black Pawn and White Pawn is this little section of sketchy bushes. Move quickly through this, obviously, and going inside of White Pawn. White Pawn and Black Pawn are required for that one quest. This bathroom is a pretty heavily contested spot. A lot of people move from black to white and run right through this hole. Easily one of the heavier rat spots in the game. Speaking of rats, here's their nest. Fucking trash bags. Going upstairs. Taking my sweet ass time, not really sure why. We are going to head ourselves to the roof. Again, the vast majority of the vertical playstyle of this game, as far as this building is concerned, is on the roof. On the third floor, there is actually a hole in the ground that you can go through and check on 2-story. If you know somebody is below you, that is a good way to check them out. At the edge of 3rd, 2nd, 1st, there is a decent angle on the checkpoint, Scav Extract, as well as the parking lot between Queen and the night buildings. Going up onto the roof, you can get up on top of this tent. You are very exposed here to dome. If you know dome is clear, no you don't. So be careful up here. This roof here gives you a great angle on the helicopter and all of the scavs that are running around out there. Like I said earlier, dome is always the issue on this building. You can get up on top of this if you know that there are enemy combatants inside of the helicopter or over there on the roof of school and or kitchen. There's a light that you can hide behind if you know where the enemies are and to kind of break up your silhouette. Hopping down. This is the dome building, also known as King. I have learned this making this video. This building is called King. I'm just a fucking idiot. Going up to the roof of dome, there is several spots that you can get up on that kind of make you invisible to enemy players. This is a extract camping spot, famousized by Stankrat himself. He sits here all the time and waits for people to use the paracord extract. You can look at the extract itself, or you can turn around and look at the entryways to this point. Jumping back on the sandbags and going back up the stairs. If you are deciding to snipe up here, you actually have a way down without, dying. Because this is a high roof. If you jump off, I do believe you die. If you hop up on this fence here, and then look down for the air conditioners, you can hop on the air conditioner, crouch, pull back, land on this roof here. Didn't take any damage whatsoever, and I am off of the roof. Running into the forest that is right adjacent to the dome area, you can get up on top of these rocks. It gives you a decent little sniper area that people don't typically check first. You can also jump off of this hill onto this yellow van, onto this building. Add some verticality to your game. You can jump off of the building onto this rock, which is another great little sniper spot. If you go prone where I'm about to, your legs are up, so it kind of gives people something to look at. However, most of the time people, when they look up here, they look at the dome, they don't look at the rocks. Good to keep in mind. Back into the dome, if you hop up onto this railing, you can actually hop up onto this middle section of the dome. Gives you a decent look at some things that are, difficult to spot from, when you go prone right there next to those sandbags. And it also adds a new angle that people don't typically check. Moving out of the dome, if you are inclined, you are able to jump out of this section. That's pretty obvious. I shouldn't really have to explain that to you guys. And here is the part of the video that you've been waiting for. The Ratacombs. Going down from the dome, several spots to camp, including right at the bottom of these stairs. People can sit there. Going down this spooky hallway, right at the end of it on the right is another spot that people like to sit in. Great times. Game sucks. The call out for this area is obviously spiral stairs. You can actually go through the hole in the ground, but if you fuck it up and follow all the way down, you're going to meet your end. These are obviously called spiral stairs because they are stairs that are in a spiral. Try to keep up. I'm just kidding. Being an asshole. Sorry. This little jump here, can jump up here, and then you can fall down onto the pipe. And this is what this spot looks like from the bottom looking up. Water there is pretty invisible. Moving from the bottom of spiral stairs into this hallway, if the doors are open, you can snipe all the way through to an area I'm going to show you right now called Wooden Cylinder. I like to call this area wooden because if you hear wood, this is where they are. With a teammate, you are able to actually get up onto that pipe there. A lot of rats who run in teams are able to get up there. It's a good spot to keep in mind. If you come through this hallway and jump over this railing, you can land onto this wooden platform. This wooden platform is terrifying, and if you come in here and the lights are out, this is what this essentially looks like. I mean, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do here? Look at that. Light off. I can't see shit. Moving down, if you're coming into from the opposite direction, this spool here is another spot that players like to go prone and just peek at. When it's dark, they can't be seen. So flashlights, flashlights, flashlights. Moving through this hallway here, if these doors are closed, somebody has already been through it. Typically on my way through, I like to close the doors just to kind of slow people down. This area here is the direct connector from the offices area to the, I think you're under white pawn at this point. People like to hide behind that big old door. They also like to go prone here. And most people are in such a rush to get out that people just run right by this spot. So make sure you add it to the stuff that you're checking. And also sitting in this corner. This corner, I have died by people literally not taking any effort and just sitting in that corner, and I end up dead. So watch that one as well. This little corner here is the direct area that will get you from white pawn to queen. When people swing this corner, they typically keep their weapon head height, which I'll show you in a second. If you sit on this electrical box, your head height is not head height anymore. So if I swing, head height, your head is actually way up there. Good to keep in mind. Going down into further into the Ratacombs, I have one spot specifically that you need to keep in mind. If you go up towards under the side of Queen and then jump down onto this generator, jump from the generator onto that electrical box on the wall, and then onto this door here. A lot of people don't check that. If you fall into that little gap I just showed you, you're fucked. You will die there. There's no way out. This is BZ walking towards me while I am actually in that spot. Yeah, it's pretty fucked. Actually going into this office area, you can hop up on top of these lockers. Gives you a decent angle on the ramp that comes down from the opposite side of where we just were. A lot of people just come in here, swing, and check for their typical angles by the door, by the pillars in the middle. A lot of people don't check up here. Hopping down and actually going over to that side, I'm going to show you a crack in a door that you can use to look up the ramp itself. First things first, we're actually going to go into the office where the power button is. I'm going to flick the power on so we can see a little better. This corner here is a very popular spot for people to just sit and wait, because at some point in a raid, there will be somebody to come turn on power. So people sit here quite often. Going back out here and then around, I'm going to show you that crack that I was just speaking about a second ago. Looking up this ramp, typically people sit up there and wait. If you peek this crack here, it's very difficult to see anything. I'm actually going to run up there and show you what that looks like here in a second. People who know where to look will see you, but not a lot of people know where to look. That crack right there is what I was just looking through a second ago. This hallway here is kind of dangerous. Raiders can spawn here, down here as well. And also if you go here and crouch, it's very difficult to see you. Also at the end of the office hallway, you can go into the water area and crouch. The only thing visible at this point is your head. It's the closest thing to a head glitch that this game has. And this office hallway is a highly contested area. And finally, what we've all been waiting for, D2. Going into the D2 area, there are several server racks that you can actually hop up on top of. All you have to do is go around to the right, hop up onto this red railing. Then from the red railing to the shorter, looks like a power box. From the power box onto the server stacks. And then you can actually go all the way down here and go prone at the end. This is what that looks like in the dark. I mean, for fuck's sake. What the hell are we supposed to do about that? They've adapted. Hopping down, they can actually also get on the red railing here and jump onto this green door. If I remember correctly, I fuck it up, but just know that that is a place that they can be sitting. Yep, exactly. I suck. This is what those angles look like if you were to peek it from the door. With the introduction of the underbarrel grenade launchers, you're probably dead. You're more than likely dead. Going into the entrance to the actual D2 extract, this is a pretty popular camping spot, has been since the introduction of D2. People like to sit there and wait for people to come through those doors. If you close the door, go behind it, hit open, and crouch in this corner, the door actually opens with you behind it, and you can catch people running by as they try to get to extract. Going down into D2, there are several little nooks that you can hide in. That door actually spawns closed. If it's open, somebody's probably either down here or has already left. You can hide behind this air tank. People like to hide behind these pipes. Kind of nook themselves in there. Killing the lights typically is what the rats will do. If you come down here and all of the lights are off, one, you've already been impacted, or two, somebody's about to blow your kneecaps out. Flashlights are very important down here. This is the final spot of the video. This is a rat's last chance, and this is what it looks like in the dark. We are so fucked. So yeah, we've essentially lost reserve to the rats. Good luck on your future raids, boys. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you. And also make sure you guys comment below on where you want to see next.